I'm so sorry, Colorado. We tried. I mean, we really tried. We had 39 shots on goal tonight against the Wild. And statistically, the Kings going into this game were 9-1-1 on the second half of a back-to-back. And we played not too great last night in Nashville. And so tonight should have been, again, statistically, should have been an easy win for the Kings. They completely dominated the neutral zone. They took, like I said, 39 shots on goal compared to, I think, the maybe 15 that the Wild took. Yet somehow the Wild scored on their first shot of the game, which came maybe halfway through the first period after the Kings had already gotten 4 shots and a power play. And then they scored somewhere during the second period, and the Kings just couldn't get past Dubnyk. It's so frustrating to see that they're back to this bad habit of making other goaltenders look bad. I mean, good. They make other goaltenders look really good. Now, granted, Dubnyk had some spectacular saves, and I'm going to talk about one in the third period. But on the whole, we just didn't pressure them with good stuff tonight. And I know we're in a playoff spot, and I know I don't really care about home ice because we've always managed to do whatever's necessary without it in 2012 and 2014. None of that mattered, and winning the Pacific doesn't matter at all. And we could actually end up winning, I think we still can, we could end up winning our conference, which the LA Kings have never done, and we've only won the Pacific Division once in our history. So part of me really, really wants to hold on to that. The Ducks did lose tonight, so it's still possible to stay ahead. We just are making it a little bit harder for ourselves, a little bit harder than we need to, but honestly, we're in the playoffs, and I'm focusing on that because that is the important part come playoff time. Not worried at all. So tonight's game, like I said, not that great. First period was all Kings, yet of course they scored. And it was right after the power play. There were 3 high sticking calls in the first period, which is weird, and I kind of really wanted that trend to stay because there were only 3 and they were all high sticks. So the guy that gets the first penalty of the night comes crashing out of the box and scores instantly. Well, I mean, it was 10 seconds after, but essentially instantly after our power play is over. Because, of course, that's so LA Kings. And then the Kings continue to just pepper Dubnyk with shots. We come to the second period, and they score again. And it's 2-0, and I'm digging into the alcohol. Because, come on, it's the Wild. They're vying for a wild card spot. We are top of our division. This is not a game we should be losing when we're out shooting them at a ratio of about 3-1. But then Tyler Toffoli comes to our rescue. Dwight King makes a beautiful play, skating down his left-hand side, gets the puck to an open Toffoli, and that's the shot that Toffoli doesn't miss. He has fast hands, quick release, absolutely gorgeous shot. There's a bit of traffic in front, and I don't think Dubnyk can quite track it as well as he would want to. So it's a 2-1 game, and that's more exciting because the Kings are really starting to pick up their momentum. Toffoli's goal came immediately after another power play. They didn't score on that, but they definitely got a little bit of their mojo back because the Wild had been coming back a little bit at the beginning of the first, especially after their goal, but that kind of kicked the Kings into high gear, and they started dominating again. Then they took a whole bunch of stupid penalties, and it kind of really pissed me off. I think Jake Muzzin took one. Jake Muzzin was the guy that didn't clear on the power play that led to the Wild's second goal, and I kind of just wanted to strangle him a little bit. I will say Nick Dowd made his NHL debut. We still have Gaborik and Vestig, guy who I like. Anyway, I'll learn how to pronounce his name one day. They were still out with injuries. Tanner Pearson took a personal day today, so Nick Dowd made his NHL debut, and I think he did a really good job. The first penalty that the Kings didn't have, that they totally blanking on the word. Drew. He was the one that drew the first penalty, so he also had a penalty, unfortunate, and I think that was the one that led to the goal, but again, I'm totally blaming Muzzin for that, not Nick Dowd. He had some really good shifts. He was playing along with Tyler Toffoli, and there were quite a few chances where he stripped the puck and made a great play to Tyler, and Tyler made a great play to the net, and I think he's going to fit in really well. He's a center, which means that Carter can shuffle back to the right wing, and I think that's where he does his best. So it's looking good. Except for the fact that the Kings just can't. One of Dubnyk's finer moments where I think he stole some of Jonathan Quick's Jedi Knight power somewhere along the way. He manages to stop, and I still don't know how, Nick Dowd's first amazing attempt at net, and then Shore can't get the rebound, and Muzzin does get the rebound, but hits it in the side of the net, and it's just a sequence where, I mean, that kind of tells you how the whole game went. We're just tearing at our hair. It was not indicative of Dubnyk's play the whole time. He was good, but he didn't have to be that good enough. And that was the Kings' problem tonight. They peppered him. 39 shots is a hell of a lot, but they weren't phenomenal shots on goal. Maybe they're tired, winding down to the end of the season. They've already hit their playoff mark, so they don't really care as much, but I really needed them to beat the Wild for the Avalanche, so that sucks. Wild card spots are still completely up for grabs. Nashville, it's looking likely they're going to nab the first one, so really it's Wild, Avalanche duking out for the second one. The Ducks lost tonight, and if the Sharks win, they will leapfrog the Ducks to be second in the league, so our division is basically wide open as to who's going to end up where. So stay tuned for the next couple of weeks. Playoffs is still, those positions are still anyone's game, unless, of course, you are the Washington Capitals, who clinched the top of their division tonight. Congratulations, Jay Will. Knew you could do it, man.